Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
The world you are living in is the world they wanted. Leave them to it. Those who have left you are eager to build a better world, a world of freedom and opportunity, a world based on mutual respect. In that world, you will rise in the morning with the spirit you knew in childhood.
Thank you for joining me. This is Brandon from freestatecolorado.com. Liberty is on the rise in Colorado, and this is evident in the growth of the Libertarian Party of Colorado in recent years. Hannah Goodman is the current vice chair of the Libertarian Party of Colorado and a staunch defender of Colorado's rural way of life. Hannah joined me to talk about the Libertarian Party and share details about the events and speakers at this year's convention. I hope you find this conversation interesting, and I hope to see you at the Libertarian Party convention on April 1st. Leave me a comment if you want to help grow the Liberty movement in Colorado. See you later. Well, Hannah, I hope you are well, and thank you very much for joining us today.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me on again. We had a great conversation last time I was on, so I look forward to that this time as well.
Well, perfect. So, Hannah, for those who don't know, what is the Libertarian Party?
The Libertarian Party is quite simply a political party here in the United States. But more than that, our idea is to promote and be a supporter of civil liberties. We're all about non-interventionism. We are pro laissez-faire capitalism in the truest, most purest sense of that term. We're also in support of limiting the size and scope of government however possible. Overall, libertarians are devoted to the principles of libertarianism. We support the rights of the individual and to exercise virtual sole authority over our own lives. And we are set against the traditional services and regulatory and coercive powers of the federal, state, and local governments.
Awesome. So I guess then, a lot of people would say, well, that sounds a lot like the Republican Party. What would you say is the primary difference between libertarians and Republicans then?
When we say reduce the size and scope of government, we absolutely mean that on every single level. There is no compromise on our principles, especially there. We believe in zero regulations on the market, whereas plenty of Republicans over time have supported all kinds of regulatory things on the economic market. We believe 100% in deregulating the Second Amendment, the 2A, and also every gun law is an infringement on those particular set of rights. We are not Republicans in that we genuinely adhere to our ideology, and we're very much purists in that sense. Whereas I think a lot of times Republicans have watered down and compromised so much on a lot of things that I know that is one reason why I am not a Republican, is because I am very much aligned with my ideology, and there is no backpedaling, there's no wavering. This is what I stand for, and that is it. That is all. So those are my ideas of the differences.
No, I think you perfectly explained why I'm a libertarian as well. No compromise on our gun rights, our ability to defend ourselves, our ability to raise our families and conduct business based on, voluntary mutual consent, not some sort of regulatory coercive apparatus telling us what to do, right? And I got to say, too, war. I think war is one of the biggest differences, this anti-war platform of the Libertarian Party, as opposed to Republicans. The Libertarian Party has kind of become this voice of the anti-war movement these days, where so many Republicans, unfortunately, are either clamoring for war with Russia or clamoring for war with China or clamoring war with whoever, take your pick.
Absolutely. And, that's one thing about republicanism is it's very much steeped in the ideas of imperialism still. And the founding fathers never intended for us to be an imperialist nation. And we need to stand true on those truths that they promoted themselves and to only use our military to defend ourselves. We are not the world police. We do not defend corporate interests abroad, overseas for any reason at any time. Though we are laissez-faire capitalism, we are not cronyists and we do not support the corporate agendas. And a lot of times war is spearheaded by the corporations that seek to benefit economically from that horrific act. And they have blood on their hands. At least I know that the Libertarian Party is so anti-war that we are speaking out very publicly as much as we can on our platform. And therefore, our conscience is clear when it comes to the anti-war movement. There's no reason we need to be in Russia. We don't need to be fighting a war with China. You know, there's other things we can do.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I think that's huge. And I think that's a really clear distinction that's more important than ever, you know, and it's interesting because the Libertarian Party is based on a philosophy. You know, it's hard to pin down for the Democrats or the Republicans what is their philosophy. It seems like a hodgepodge kind of mishmash of whatever's going to get them votes. Where Libertarian Party is like, okay, here's our philosophy, here's what we believe, and that's where the party springs from. So, you know, being a political party, you know, just like the other political parties, the Libertarian Party of Colorado holds a convention every year to choose candidates for office, elect party leadership, change bylaws. Can you tell us a little bit about this year's Libertarian Party convention?
Sure. So this year, our convention is April 1st and 2nd. It's going to be held at the American Mountaineering Center. It's a 2-day event and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I actually happen to know where the American Mountaineering Center is because they hold the Cowboy Poetry Association gathering every year. And I've gone several times. So it's actually at Golden High School, the original building, right downtown Golden. It's so Colorado. I mean, iconically so. So I'm excited about the location. This year, we are going to be conducting platform changes as well as bylaw changes. And then we have some board elections. If there were any offices running this year higher than local, we would nominate candidates, but we don't have any this year. It's kind of an off year. And that's why we do platform and bylaw like every other year to kind of supplement the election changes. So this year for bylaws, we are seeking to change quite a bit of things. And then the platform is only trying to change just a couple of things, kind of clean up the platform and some repetitive language. Board elections, we'll be electing several different positions. We have outreach, legislative, vice chair, chair, as well as membership. And we will be electing a new treasurer and treasurer's assistant. So major players on our board are up for re-election or election. And I am currently seeking to run for chair of the party, and I'm serving as vice chairman currently.
Great. Great. I think it's pretty cool with the Libertarian Party too, that how accessible it is. You know, the Democrats are such a huge force in Colorado politics, unfortunately, these days. So, you know, I think for the average person, it'd be hard for them to say, how can I, you know, participate and make changes and have their voice heard. Where the Libertarian Party is very grassroots. It's so because it is a little bit smaller, and there's so much more opportunity for people to get involved and make their voices heard and really have a say in the party. So I think that's a really cool aspect to Libertarian Party that people should really capitalize on.
Definitely, we operate as a precinct. So when, for instance, here in the county of Phillips County, I politic a lot with the local GOP, right? It's all I really have to politic with. We don't have a huge Democratic presence, and the ones we have are not very active. So there's really no wheeling and dealing on that side I have to do. But overall, I was asked to go through the county bylaws here, and I was helping one of their members, and we realized how underrepresented they are even at the precinct level. There was a meeting that was held to elect board leadership and precinct leadership, and only people currently serving as precinct leaders or on the board are allowed to make those kinds of votes. So I think theoretically it was set up that the precinct leaders would fall back into their constituency of the precincts and ask their opinion, but that actually doesn't happen, and it's not written in the bylaws either. So it's basically the good old boys club. Boy, my grandpa was upset when I called it that publicly, but it is. So for the Libertarian Party, we're the complete opposite. Anyone who fits their membership as defined in our bylaws is welcome to show up and be a delegate and vote their conscience and take a very active stance within the party. And we were comparing bylaws, my friend and I, and she's like, wow, you have a ton of power and control as one person in your party. And I'm like, that's because this is the party of the individual.
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty clear distinction. That's interesting. So for the convention coming up here in April, somebody who's registered a libertarian can just show up and have their voice heard. Is that really all it takes?
For the most part. So you have to have been registered by January 1st of this year. You have to have been a member at least since then. So if you've registered after that, you won't count this year as a delegate. But other than that, yep, for this particular convention, you just show up as a registered libertarian. And you don't even have to pre-register. You can just show up, get credentialed, and vote for everything.
Very cool. Very cool. So party business, it's going to sound boring to some people. I know it's really important. I'll be there for that as well. But aside from party business, what other events will be happening at that weekend at the convention?
So Friday night, we're kicking off our convention. There's always something Friday night. Usually there's a mixer or something like that. This year, we are doing a Live, Laugh, Liberty comedy show at the American Mountaineering Center. Tickets are $40. Doors open at 6:45 and it starts at 7 p.m. Our comics are our own LPCO member, Kyle Ruff. He's from Steamboat Springs. We'll have Caleb Salvatore there as well. And then we have another comedian, Noe Ramirez from Nebraska. And it's going to be a lot of fun. These comics are just so fun that it's just going to be a great time. But during the day during convention, we will be having an affiliate training with the chair of the National Party, Angela McArdle. I have taken her affiliate training online and it was exceptional. I know it's helped me with my own affiliate and creating my brand here in Phillips County. We'll also be doing a local candidate training with Kathleen Chandler, and she's from the Independence Institute, and they're a liberty think tank, and we just adore working alongside their people. So having Kathleen come out is her trainings. I've taken plenty of local government trainings from her, and there is always so much information that it's incredible. We have speakers for the convention in different parts of it. Spike Cohen is our keynote speaker, so he will definitely be speaking at our gala Saturday night. Matt Hill from a local startup on the Front Range called Start 9 will also be speaking. We're bringing out Clint Russell from Liberty Lockdown. It's a podcast geared towards liberty. And we have Libertarian presidential hopeful Mike Termott, and he's going to be speaking about his campaign for a nomination for president for 2024. So these are a bunch of things that we have going on. The gala will have an auction, we'll have speakers, we'll have dinner, and that type of thing. So there's a lot going on besides just the business portion.
Awesome. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I always look forward to the Libertarian Party convention every year just to get together with friends, talk with like-minded individuals. It's so refreshing to know there's other people who believe in liberty and freedom out there, so much, whether it's work or family. It's sometimes discouraging being surrounded by people who are so sometimes authoritarian or see statist solutions to the problems of the world. So it's just so refreshing. It's like energizing to be around other libertarians and other people who believe in liberty and freedom and engaging in those like long philosophical conversations. So it's going to be a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah, it definitely, the conversations and the way things happen, it reminds me of like the founding fathers meeting in local pubs and taverns and just, rowing it out, throwing their philosophy out, challenging it. And it is cool because though we're all libertarians, it's not an echo chamber, and people believe all sorts of different things, but it's definitely a space where ideas being traded are so welcomed rather than shut down, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, getting two libertarians together in a room, sure, can agree on a lot of things, but there's going to be some really interesting conversations on the things we don't agree with. So that is kind of some of the fun of it too, is challenging each other's beliefs and hearing things that, might not necessarily agree with, but, kind of exploring new ideas. And there's not a lot of places, it seems, where you can do that these days. So
Yep.
another great reason to come to the convention.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. So, maybe if, like, I guess it kind of answers my next question I had for you, but, someone who's a libertarian, maybe philosophically, but not necessarily registered with the party, what other reasons would you say are there for them to come to the convention?
I definitely think everyone should come and show up. Okay, libertarians, one of the ways we kind of are different from Republicans is we party. So and we don't party behind closed doors. We're very out there with it. So even during the business portion, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of alcohol being passed around. There's a lot of cannabis, I'm sure this year we're going to be exploring, some of the psychedelics that are now legalized. So, if you like to get together, hash out ideas, have a great time, that's one aspect of it. And that party continues from Friday night all the way to Sunday afternoon, let me tell you. But we also have fun outside of the business as well. So, watching it take place kind of inspires you to be like, wow, okay, maybe I do want to register and take part in the party. But you can also get training for different things, like maybe you're not registered, maybe there's no affiliate where you live. Sit in on the affiliate training, see what it takes to start one. It's probably not as hard or scary as you think, right? We need more local candidates than anything, because it's like the law of the lesser magistrate. They really can interpose themselves between people and the government. And locally, you can nullify a lot of different laws. And there's a lot of local positions, and they don't require a ton of knowledge or experience. And, it's just like something you can do on the side. So learning how to do that is going to be a lot of fun. Of course, the gala, Spike Cohen is cool. Okay. Like, Clint Russell, he's super cool, right? You're going to come meet these people. You'll be able to rub shoulders with them. So if you're ideally a libertarian and you know those names, you may want to come and rub shoulders. Actually, we have 2 tables available where you can have dinner with them if you buy a ticket. So there is still reasons to show up and have a good time.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, definitely. And I'm really hoping to meet some people running for local office, some local candidates that I can try and help and get involved with their campaigns, because like you said, I think that's the most important thing that pretty much anybody can do, libertarian, unaffiliated, whatever, is run for local office, get involved at that level, because for one, it's easier. It doesn't require millions of dollars or even tens of thousands of dollars necessarily. And yeah, the impact a person can have in their local city government or county government, I mean, it's huge. People don't realize how powerful those positions are and how accessible they are. And to have a voice in your community, I mean, it's a very important thing. If we want to turn the tide for liberty, that's definitely going to be required.
And what good is it to have people elected at state and county if you don't have local underneath you? It's a pyramid. I've been trying to explain this, and I think a lot of times the Libertarian Party has kind of like missed the boat on this. It's a pyramid. There's more local seats than there are county seats. There's more county seats than there are state seats, and you need to build that foundation in order to really advance liberty. If you build from the top down, you're building a very weak structure.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine how amazing it would be to live in a town or a county with a libertarian government, government that says at the local level, hey, we're not going to enforce these state gun laws. We're not going to enforce these state restrictions on your ability to run a business. I mean, that could be, I mean, that could be pretty cool. So yeah, 100%. I think that's really, really important. And let's hope that more people get involved and run for office at that local level, feel empowered to do so. And then I guess for my next question, for liberty-minded individuals, why should they join the Libertarian Party?
Honestly, what do you have to lose? right? We've already talked about my local county GOP, right? That's as local as you get, right? And they're already playing the good old boys club at this level, which is to be expected, right? I suppose. But if you're not having any power locally, you certainly have no power any higher up. And yes, I hear all the time libertarians can't get elected. Here's what though, because I'm so involved in my community and the political arena here, I have to get in where I can get in. And I attend the Lincoln County Day dinner all the time. This last one we had all of the people running for our districts that were Republicans. Quality of candidates was the exact same as the same people that we ran serious campaigns for. There is no difference in the quality of our candidates. The only difference being that Republicans have the name brand like Coke, for instance, right? And libertarians do not. But we did get a libertarian elected this past cycle, and I think that there's room for more. So if you're on the fence and you're a liberty-minded individual, I would just say, what is the power in being an unaffiliated voter? What is your power in being registered Republican? I don't see, and I have myself looked into this before registering a libertarian and deciding to get into politics. What is my power? Because I'm massively Ayn Randian. So I need individual power for me, right? I cannot veer from that. And from my own research, and I research everything from the top to the bottom, I have found the best representation of that is the Libertarian Party. And if you're done with all the hemming and hawing, all the BS that goes on from top to bottom, the Republican State Assembly was a nightmare last time. And it's been the Republican Party in Colorado has essentially been in a shambles since the 2000s. And, you know, what do you have to lose? Really, what do you have to lose?
It's a very great question. So going forward, I mean, we might have talked about this a little bit already, but what will the Libertarian Party of Colorado be focused on in 2023?
Well, I'll just kind of recap and tell you what we have been working on the past 2 years since I've been elected vice chairman. Overall, we've been very internally focused as a board because we're looking at the structure of how things run, and we're trying to fine tune and create a workflow through that. We've explored things like Scrum, which is project management software for engineers and software developers. That was good, but we've actually implemented a new sort of organization called the L10 meeting, and it's based out of a concept called Traction by a guy named Gino Wickman, and it is an entrepreneurial operating system. So in that, we are a board of voting members. It doesn't necessarily translate fully, but there is a lot of really good things we've worked on and creating and implement a workflow between board meetings. Board meetings are essentially just to put a wrapper and a bow on the work you've done, say this is what we've done, ask for funds, and just recap for your membership what's gone on during the month. A board meeting is not a work meeting. So the board meets twice a month outside of the board meeting. We assign tasks. We have spreadsheets where we enter who's done what and how they've been completed. We assess massive problems and we break those up into what are called rocks. And each director has a rock that they're working on from their own directorship. So fundraising has worked really hard on having consistent fundraising events. And man, we've really had quite a lot, whereas I don't think that was happening so much in the past. Our legislative director currently has, been sending a ton of our activists to the Capitol to testify on bills. We are not done. That just started. So stay tuned for more of his rock in progress. I have been working really hard on assessing the regions and the affiliates with the affiliates director and trying to save affiliates from being shut down, but also trying to make sure that our affiliates have what they've needed. And we've implemented an affiliate check-in for all of the affiliates to participate in quarterly, to bounce ideas off each other, to talk about problems, to try and create some connection, some continuity, to really strengthen our affiliates. We have a welcome committee here in the Libertarian Party. So if you go to the website and you click you want to get involved, that's going to notify our welcome committee, which is currently one man. His name is Mark Montoni, and he's fantastic. I have been working on supplying him with committee members to help him with his workload of plugging in these activists into the party. He had sent me an email, and this guy had written him, and he's like, I don't know what else to do. I feel that my life and the life of everyone is so hopeless. This is my one last hope. And I want to do something to advance liberty. And it just like, it got me. I'm like, man, our liberty lovers are dying out there. How can we grab a hold of them? So this is a project that I've really been working on. I've had some committee members step away. So trying to find solid committee members here has been a challenge, but it's one I'm still currently working on. So after we've worked through all of these internal problems and we've created this workflow, going forward, we're trying to break up as many of our hard rocks as we possibly can to gain traction for the party. And going forward, we're definitely going to keep this workflow structure, and we're going to train every person that's elected into this so that this can just be some sort of continuity between directors as well. We are definitely looking to expand our reach into our own base. There's like 40,000 registered libertarians, and a very small percentage of that is actually active within the party. It's pretty normal. However, we absolutely need to be engaging the libertarians we already have as far as sending out mailers and trying to get communication with these people. We've set up several different platforms for people to get engaged with activism, from creating a Facebook attached to our page, to Discord, to Twitter, to like, we're trying to get out there and get as many people engaged as we can. And going forward, that's really a strategy we're going to be working on. I think going forward also, I would like to put a strong focus on building up the party, right? We've worked on the board. Now it's time to work on the party as we have it, building really strong affiliates with very strong leadership, with people who have vision and goals for their county affiliate and objectively seek to track that. And I would love to discuss with other chairs and counties about implementing a workflow for them as well. Because without, having a county affiliate is so important, because they're going to be the face, right? A lot of people that are in county affiliates are very politically active. They're going to be the people that show up to city council meetings and they're going to fight for your rights. They're going to show up to the county commissioners and they're going to be like, hey, you can't do this. Here's why you can't do this. And the more people they interact with there, these people are going to remember them and be like, oh, that's that libertarian that helped fight the chicken ban. Oh, that's that libertarian that decriminalized the sale of backyard eggs in our county. Hey, these people are standing up for our rights and fighting for our bodily autonomy, against this government. What are they? Who are these people? What is libertarianism? Our local people are going to be that face. So when you start meeting people and you're like, hey, I'm a libertarian, you want to get involved, having a strong affiliate behind you is only going to benefit you. So in order to really expand the party, we have to strengthen it at the basis levels. So we've strengthened the board. Now we need to strengthen the affiliates, and then we can really turn an about face and really push for expanding candidates and things like that on the ballot. But there's still some internal problems. Yeah.
No, for sure. For sure. Yeah, no, you got a lot on your plate, and I really hope, I wish you luck in your campaign for chair of the state party. There's a lot to work on, but I got to say, what you spoke to about county affiliates and really focusing on strengthening the foundation of the party is the affiliates, and really strengthening them and giving them, the tools they need to make them viable, viable powerhouses in state politics, I think is really the core of what the party needs to do. I couldn't agree with you more there. If you have a strong affiliate, they have their candidates they can support. I mean, strong affiliate turns into volunteers, donors for our city council, municipal races potentially, and obviously candidates as well are going to be coming out of the affiliate. So that's really kind of the backbone of getting our local candidates elected, I think, and that could really transform Colorado politics if those affiliates become more powerful.
And I know a lot of people want to hear a lot of grandstanding about, we're going to have an affiliate in all 64 counties. We're going to run strong state races. Like, but if you don't have people with campaign resumes, that's something that's really, really important. Having a strong campaign resume. I've served on this board. I served at this level. I've done these things. I have this under my belt. This is why you should choose me. That helps build voter confidence. So everybody wants to run before they can walk. And that doesn't necessarily translate to success. And it could very well be why the Libertarian Party hasn't necessarily been super effective or successful going forward. But that's definitely something I would like to change. And it sounds slow and boring and like, well, there's bigger things we need to work on. Sure, but if you don't have legs, you're not going to stand up. So we have to be putting these things in place. And it's so important to do so. Of course, not everything is going to be perfect and everything is going to be a learning curve, but I think it's worth trying, from this approach. And another thing is messaging. We catch a lot of flack. Oh, all you guys do is post memes. Yes, that is the current standard of political satire. Political satire is one of the most effective things you have and powers that the people hold against the people who are lording over them, so to speak, right? Political satire used to get you executed. And actually, in the reign of Queen Anne herself was she was not the most powerful woman in England for like the first 45 years of her reign or something, a really long time. Actually, the most powerful woman in England was the Duchess of Marlborough and her husband, because he was one of the most successful military generals England has ever seen. And so she was his wife. She was best friends since childhood to Queen Anne, and she ruled England with an iron fist, and Queen Anne marched to her orders. It wasn't until one man who was like upper middle class, not even a noble, decided to get into criticizing both Queen Anne and the Duchess of Marlborough through political satire. And within like 5 articles that he wrote in a satirical way, the Duchess of Marlborough no longer had power, right? This woman had military power backing her through her husband. She was incredibly wealthy. She was the highest ranking noble under the queen herself. The amount of power this woman held and was broken quite easily through political satire should never be overlooked. Also, the man who wrote that was one of the first people to not be killed for political satire. And that's why it's a success story. And he went on to actually really deeply influence the queen and parliament and all kinds of things. So I want to just remind our members and other people that memes are the name of the game. These are political cartoons. This is how it's operating. And this is really where we have power. We don't have money. We don't have prestige. We don't have current power. None of us are in office, right? We cannot compete against what I call the political machine. We can't. The only power we have really is through our messaging and political satire. And it's so important to remember political satire makes and breaks kings, emperors, and nations. And it's free.
Yeah, I mean the hearts and minds of people, right? I mean, the politics of obedience. Why do people continue to obey? Because in their mind, in their brains, they think that that's the right thing to do. So kind of chipping away at that and breaking down people's willingness to accept tyranny and authoritarianism. Yeah, that's key. I mean, that's the first step. Edward Abbey said, "Freedom begins between the ears." So I think that's an important aspect to it as well. So awesome. Well, Hannah, I really appreciate your time today. I look forward to talking to you at convention. Wish you luck in your campaign for state chair. I think you'll do a great job, and really look forward to the great things Libertarian Party of Colorado can accomplish going forward.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's always so much fun joining you and Free State Colorado and getting out the word about libertarianism and liberty as a whole.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Hannah, and take care.
You too.